using Gemini 2.0. And this is as a part of the Build with AI workshop series that we are having. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Wardah Jamil, and I am the community manager at Google Developers Group on campus. And today we will explore how artificial intelligence, specifically Google's Gemini 2.0, can assist in cybersecurity threat intelligence analysis. So let's get started. So these are the topics we'll be covering today. So we will go through them one by one. We'll start with what is Build with AI for those who didn't attend the previous workshop. So Build with AI is an initiative by Google to help developers and tech enthusiasts to learn how to leverage artificial intelligence in practical applications. So today we will be focusing on a cybersecurity based and this event, Build with AI event, it has started on February 1st, and this will go on till July 31, and we will have a series of workshops on these topics, as you can see here, Gemini 2.0, Gemma family of models, on-device AI, Google Cloud, and Vertex AI. So these are all Google Tech, and the Build with AI event consists of workshops related to these Google technology. Now, starting off with the basics. So, what is cybersecurity? We need to understand it before proceeding with this workshop. So, cybersecurity is protecting systems, networks, and data from cyber threats. So, this ensures the CIA triad. So, CIA triad is basically confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality meaning protecting sensitive data, ensuring your personal data is secure, not available to everyone. Integrity is making sure that your data is not changed by unauthorized people and it is in its original state. And availability is, for example, when websites are available, that's so for example, if a website is not available, take our university's self-service or Blackboard, for example. So that's a breach of availability if it's not available. So cybersecurity also consists of ensuring these three are maintained. So key areas in cybersecurity are network security, there is information security, and operational security. And some of the cyber threats include hacking, phishing, ransomware. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I'm just giving a basic overview for those who are beginners. And now how does AI enhance cybersecurity? Now, AI is revolutionizing cybersecurity, but how exactly? So it reduces false positives, meaning traditional security tools generate too many alerts. False positive means when someone who, for example, did not perform an attack, but they get the blame for doing an attack. So it prevents that. And it also identifies patterns and anomalies faster, and it can process millions of logs in seconds. And it also automates threat detection and response. So, for example, if there's suspicious activity, AI can detect it in real time, and it can also suggest improvements. So, this is where Google's Gemini 2.0 comes into play. So, what exactly is Gemini 2.0? So this is Google's multimedia AI model. It is designed for text analysis, summarization, and pattern recognition. So it can process cybersecurity reports, threat intelligence logs, and security alerts, which is what we're focusing on today. And we'll be using Gemini 2.0 in Google Colab today, and we will analyze cybersecurity logs and extract threat intelligence insights. So far, is my audio good? Just to make sure, just give a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So the title of this workshop, cyber threat intelligence analysis. I'm sure many people are hearing this word for the first time. So let me explain what this means. So cyber threat intelligence, or CTI, it's all about collecting, analyzing, and interpreting cyber threat data. So it helps organizations anticipate, prevent, and respond to cyber threats. So data sources like this include network traffic, for example, from the firewall. It can consist of firewall logs, which we will be working with today. And artificial intelligence enhances CTI analysis. By automating the log analysis, this makes work much more faster, and it can also detect indicators of compromise, which is IOC, like suspicious IP addresses. If a suspicious IP address is trying to gain unauthorized access, so it can detect that. And it can also summarize threat reports in seconds, which saves us time from creating manual reports, which is exhaustive and takes a lot of time. So it makes work more efficient, right? So now let's see how Gemini 2.0 helps us in CTI analysis. So it analyzes security reports. So security reports. I will show you one example. As you can see here, MITRE attack is one example, right? So let me show you what MITRE attack is. So look at this page. So this is MITRE attack. And this is a framework. It is a knowledge base. This is used by cybersecurity professionals. And as you can see, it has different attacks categorized, and they all have an ID. So this is really helpful in CTI analysis because we can check the ID, and if any attack in our system relates to the mentioned IDs here, we will know directly what it is rather than going through the process of checking different IDs. So let's see how Gemini 2.0 analyzes cyber threats.
You are muted, Wardah.
Hello? Is it
It
fine
w
now?
Yeah, it's fine. It was just for a second. All good.
Oh, okay. Same slide, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I will repeat what I was saying. How Gemini 2.0 assists in CTI analysis. So it analyzes threat reports like MITRE attack. I just showed it right now. This one. This is MITRE attack. It has basically categorized past cyber attacks and threats, and it has an ID for each one. So instead of going through the exhaustive process of searching what kind of attack is happening, we can just check from MITRE attack framework. And it also, as I said before, it summarizes large security log, makes it easier for reviewing, makes work more efficient, and it also detects vulnerabilities and anomalies using AI-powered pattern detection. Okay, so what we will cover today, we will use Google Colab and we will use Gemini 2.0 API to perform the CDI analysis. And let's get to it now. Okay, so first thing I would like you all to do is I want you all to navigate to Google AI Studio. So why do we need to navigate to Google AI Studio? So we will need to get our Gemini API key. So what you can do is you can click on Get API Key and you will come to this page. So since I'm already here, it won't show. And then you basically click on Create API Key. And yes, you can choose a project and your API key will generate here. And you will need this for Google Colab, all right? I hope it's clear. Now, the next thing is to navigate to Google Colab. Okay, we will create new notebook. All right, perfect. So this is Google Colab. So why are we using Google Colab? Basically, to make it easier, we don't have to install libraries on our device on Python. So we can just open Google Colab here and it's easier to work with, right? So let's begin. Okay, so first step, we will install the dependencies that we need, the libraries. So we will write this line, Google Generative AI. All right. So this command, basically what it does, it installs three Python packages as seen here, Google Generative AI, Pandas, and Matplotlib. So what each packet does is it provides an interface to interact with Google Gemini AI models. This is what Google Generative AI does. And Pandas, the second one, this is a powerful library. It's used for data manipulation. So it handles structured data like log files, for example. And the last one, it's Matplotlib. It's a data visualization library. It's used for plotting graphs and charts and so on. Now, this is for installing the library, so we're going to have this in a separate cell. So we're going to go on and create another cell. All right. Now from here, we will import libraries from google.colab, import user data, and import OS, import pandas. So this is basically the libraries we installed. So now we're importing them. Import Google Generative AI as Gen AI and import Matplotlib as PLT and all right. So these libraries are basically used for it loads libraries for artificial intelligence, data processing, and visualization. Again, what we just installed, right? Now, now back to our API key, which we opened. So if we click on secrets over here, we'll click on add new secret. And over here, we'll click on Gemini API keys and you will simply click on import key and you will give access to this notebook. So this is for security reasons. Uh, First of all, you don't want your API key to be available to everyone, and it's also used for authentication purposes, so not everyone can use it unless you give them authorization to, right? So I'll repeat it once again, add new secret, Gemini API keys, and import key from Google AI Studio, and give access, all right? And as you can see here, this code, these are used for accessing the API keys, and we will write it here. All right. So I will use, and one more thing, the name you give here, I used Google API key all caps lock. This will be used in the code, so make sure that this is matched, right? So I will show you how. Google API key user data dot get Google API key. All right. So as you can see here, this is what I meant. Make sure the name is same here in secrets. The name should match. Okay. Now we will write genai.configure to configure the API key so we can so our Python script can use Google Gemini services. All right. Now that we're done, the next step we will do is, so I have a log file I got from GitHub, and I will be using that to perform CTI analysis. I will share the log file with you all. So if you're working along with me, you can do it. All right, this is the log file I will be using. Okay, so first I need to write a code to upload the log file. So I will write uploaded files dot upload and log file. Now it is important that this is the same name as the file you will be uploading. Otherwise, the code will not execute. Okay, list uploaded dot keys. All right, so this entire section is for uploading our file. Right. Now, next thing is we are going to read the log file with this code. So this Python string reads the log file we will be uploading. So with open log file, okay. So once again, we upload the file here, our firewall, oh, okay. We'll upload the firewall log here. And this Python string, this is going to read the data from the file we upload. All right. Now moving on. So next step is we're going to analyze the log with Gemini 2.0 API. So here we will declare what model we are using. So this is important to know which model we are using because based on what script you are writing, there are suitable models. So I will be using the Gemini 2.0 Pro. All right, so this is the model I'm using, Gemini 2.0 Pro X. So this is important to make sure you use the right one. There's another model, which is the Flash Thinking one model, but I'll be sticking to this for today. All right, response equal model dot generate content. Okay, so here we are basically giving instructions to Gemini to on what we need. All right, so we're asking it to analyze this firewall log and identify potential threats, right? And we will refer to log data, basically the variable we used to save the log file data in. All right. I hope it's clear so far. And now we will uh, use a print command to print our basically the threat response, the threat analysis response. So this is just the heading. So I'm just gonna write threat analysis report. Okay. And then print response. Now this is calling the response, which will be generated by Google Gemini. And we have to make sure it's in text format. So basically, to summarize this part, so this sends the log data to Gemini 2.0 for analysis based on what we want. So we asked it to analyze this firewall log and look for potential threats, and then it will generate a response based on that. Okay, now the next step is to extract indicators of compromise from our analysis from this part. So first I'm going to do is make a prompt, a threat summary prompt. Okay, and we will write a prompt here and give it more instructions based on the format we want and everything. So we will write analyze the given firewall log and extract potential indicators of compromise, which is IOC. Okay, and we will ask it to look for number one, suspicious IP addresses. Number two, unusual ports. And number three, frequent failed login attempts. Basically, any possible security threat that can occur, right? So these are just a few examples. And there can also be signs of a brute force attack. Now, what is brute force? It's multiple attempts uh, to log in using a password until you get the right one. Okay, signs of a brute force attack. And then lastly, we will ask it to provide a structured summary in JSON format and end prompt. Okay, I will repeat. We will write a threat summary prompt. So basically, this will take the data generated from our previous strings, and it will analyze the log, and it will extract potential IOCs, which is indicators of compromise, which are basically suspicious IP addresses, any unusual ports, or failed login attempts, or brute force attacks. All right. So we will be continuing this. So after this, I will write response to generate content again. Threat summary prompt. So here, as you can see, we are taking data from here to make sure. Okay. And again, log data, which is basically where we saved our firewall log analysis data earlier from here, from this part, right? Okay, and now we will just write a print command to print indicators of compromise. All right. Now we will write failed attempts. So this is to write down any failed attempts that have happened. As we can see here, frequent failed login attempts. Okay, and pattern. So basically this string that I'm writing here, this is to basically follow a pattern for the IP address, right? So this will be failed login from IP. So after this, we will write the format of the IP address. Okay, so once again, this one is failed login from IP, and this is the format for the IP address. Now, once again, we are working on the threat summary prompt, which is from here. All right. Now, matches. So this is for if it found any positives with the criteria we have given Gemini. And this basically what we're using here is a library we imported. So what this will do, it will analyze a like recorded data, which will be from here, and it will use that log analysis to look for IOCs. Okay, find all pattern and log data, right? So we're gonna call pattern here. Okay, so we're still continuing this part. For IP in matches, okay, failed attempt. So what we're doing here is we're still getting the IP addresses to generate a structured report. Failed attempt dot get. Okay, IP. All right. All right. I hope it's clear so far. Okay, I see a question. Where did I get this code from? Actually, this code is for basically declaring what model we are using. So, so I don't understand what, could you like clarify what your confusion is? So model, basically, we're gonna write what Gemini model we are using because there's more than one. Oh, you mean Gemini 2.0 Pro? Okay. Okay, so if you search for Gemini models, see here where my cursor is? This is what we're using in the code, right? So if you search up all the Gemini models and see here, there is 4 models here. Gemini 2.0 Flash, Gemini 2.0 Flash Lite. So basically what's the subheading here, this is what I used in my code. So this third one is the one I'm using. Is that clear? Okay, perfect. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, we're still looking for the failed IP addresses. Okay, all right. Data frame, list failed attempts dot items. So here you can see we're basically creating a structure for it to generate, right? So first we'll write IP and failed attempt. It might look confusing right now, but when I generate the code, it will start clicking in. Okay, so now this next code, basically what this does, it's going to generate our data in a graph, but only if there is suspicious like indicators of IOC. But if not, the graph is not going to be generated. Okay, so a PLT, this is basically this, we imported this library. So this library is basically for generating visuals like graphs. Okay, so let's move on. We're basically just going to write some factors that we want. So like figure size here. This is up to your liking, but I'm just going to write this. Okay, now we're writing the columns here, basically. Okay, failed attempt based on the related to the IP addresses, which IP addresses had failed attempts. And you can choose a color for the bar chart. I'm going to go with red. All right. So all of this, what I'm doing right now is just the designing part. So this is up to you. You can choose whatever you like to your liking, but I will organize it this way. Okay, so this is my label, suspicious IPs. This is for my x-axis, right? Now for the y, I will write, okay, failed login attempt. And you can pick a title here. So let's just go with failed login attempts relates to a brute force attack because they didn't gain access. So I'm going to use detected brute force attempts. Okay. And rotation equals 45. Okay, now to finalize it, to show the graph basically. All right, so this is the design process, whatever formatting we want, right? And if there is no IOC detected, so else we will just print no failed login attempts detected in the log file. Okay. All right. So now we're done with the designing part. Now to the last few steps of our script will be, so basically this code is going to extract failed login attempts, and it's going to completely generate it. We're going to use a bar chart to be specific, right? So with open threat analysis.txt, now we also have an option to save it as a text file. That's completely up to you. So it gives you an option. It can generate the output over here in the code itself, or you can save it as a text file, right? So I'm just going to write that as an option, but to make it easier, I'm just going to read the output directly, right? Response dot text. Okay. And lastly, files dot download. Basically, the text file we created here, threat analysis dot txt. All right. Now, this is our code. So let's run and see. Now, the first time it runs is going to ask you to upload your log file. Oh, okay, there's an error. Okay, just let me fix these errors. Okay. All right, now that you see this, it's asking to upload a file, right? So the log file that I uploaded, I'm going to upload that here. And now we wait for it to generate our output. This might take a few seconds because it's basically analyzing our log file. This is our log file, and the longer the log file, the more time it will take. So I chose a limited one. I got this from GitHub. So let's wait a moment. Yes, perfect. And as you can see here, it downloaded the file for me. Let's open it. This is our report in JSON format, as we said. Let me read it from here. All right. So see here, threat analysis report. It's giving us an analysis of the firewall log. It's identifying potential threats. So key observations. It found blocked SSH attempt, and see it has also declared that as high risk. See here the IP address, SSH attempt, and the threat details are written, so you can see how detailed it is, right? An external IP address is attempting to connect to port 22 on an internal machine. This is a major red flag. So SSH, the reasoning, it's also giving reasoning. So see here, it follows a pattern. So first was the blocked SSH attempt. It gave the IP address, the time, the details, and the threat and the reasoning. The second one was blocked SQL Server access attempt, and it's also listing them according to their risk. So we can see the high risk is given first. Moving on to medium risk, which is blocked SNMP access attempt, right? Again, threat, reasoning. Okay, so, and this is a summary. Now you can see here it has also generated recommendations on what we can do to improve our security and prevent these threats, right? So we can see that we need to take immediate action on the high risk one, which is the first two, which is the blocked SSH attempt and the blocked SQL server attempt. So immediate action for those. We need to investigate the medium risk ones, and these are a few other security solutions that Gemini has generated for us. So we have to review our firewall rules since there are quite a few suspicious activity. We need to review our rules again. And it has given a few more recommendations, such as using an intrusion detection system. Now, intrusion detection system, it basically detects and blocks threats in real time and enable comprehensive logging, network segmentation. So basically, sensitive servers should be on isolated network, right? And make sure to do vulnerability scanning, security awareness training, and of course, all of that. So, however, there are risks, there's not exactly any indicators of compromise. Compromising meaning they have gained access to your system. So, no failed login attempts, meaning they successfully logged in. So there's no indicators of compromise, but that does not mean that this firewall log does not have suspicious activity. So high risk, we can still prevent it before the compromise even happen, right? So I would like to show you all what it looks like when there is indicators of compromise, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change a small part of the code. So you can see this part. Basically, what I got from this part, I took the response from the previous prompt here, analyze this firewall log, and I asked Gemini to conduct look for IOCs. So I'm going to remove this from, okay, from here. I'm going to remove this part. And what I'm going to do is, since this log file that I uploaded does not actually has indicators of compromise, I can simulate my own, right? Okay, let me just write this first. Okay, now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to write some dummy IPs, suspicious IP addresses, which just as a simulation, right? So IP. And let's say the first IP is, okay, 192.168.1.1. Note, I'm just using random ones. 10.0.0.5. It's up to you to write however many you want. I'm just going to write 4.168. Okay, and the last one. All right. Okay, now failed attempt. I'm also going to write how many failed attempts there were. So let's say 10, 25, just choosing any random numbers. We're just making a simulation to see how the IOC bar graph should look like when there's actually indicators of compromise. Okay, now, okay, and we will remove this now because we're using a simulation, so there actually is indicators of compromise, right? Okay, so, okay, so this is our change code. So this is what I added, basically this string. These are some IP addresses, and these basically have indicators of compromise. So we just want to see how the bar graph will look like. So let's run the code. Okay, choose file again. All right, now let's wait for it to generate. Okay, so again, this is the same report as before. Threat level high, explanation, action, and recommendations once again. Now, indicators of compromise. So see, it has created a JSON format, like as we said here, provide a structured summary. So along with that, at the end, if you see, oh, okay, one second, I have it here. Okay, so as you can see here, this is what it should look like. Now, going back to what library for your reference, this is the library that makes it possible to generate graphs, right? So yeah, this is our analysis report. We can see that it has given an individual log entry analysis. It also further provides recommendations, what we can do to prevent it. And it also downloads the text file, which is great. And it also provides it in JSON format. And lastly, the bar graph if there are indicators of compromise. Okay, so before I conclude my workshop, does anybody have any questions? I hope it was clear for everyone. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If it's all good, just give a thumbs up. Yes, you can turn your mic on. Is there a course where we can learn? Yes, there is a certificate for attendance. Okay, for a course, there's very limited of on cybersecurity with AI, but if you want to learn more about cybersecurity, I would suggest going to this website. I will write it down. Try Hack Me. They have different categories of many topics, right? I will show you right now. It's actually great. See, this is Try Hack Me. Okay, now if you see here, you click on Learn. Let's go to modules. Look here, there's all cybersecurity, for example, threat emulation. So see here, to answer your question, if you're interested in cybersecurity specifically, I would suggest try HackMe and Hack the Box as well. But if you want a specific AI concentration, I'm not really sure where if there's a course. There's also one more course. It's provided by Google. It's on Coursera. It's called Google Cybersecurity. If you search this up on Coursera, this also gives you an introduction to cybersecurity. Yes, someone has their hand raised. You can turn your mic on or write in the chat. It's all right. No problem. If someone has their hand raised, you can turn your mic on, write in the chat. It's all right. And yes, there is a certificate for attendance. So if you have RSVP'd for this workshop, you will definitely get a certificate. Any more questions? If it's all good, just give a thumbs up. Yes, you can turn your mic on or write in the chat. Oh, you want to see my code? Okay, so speaking of that, RSVP is the registration link. The registration link we basically uploaded. You have to register from our Google Developer Group page. And you want to see my code? Okay, I can show you my code. However, to answer your question, we will be providing all resources. So my PowerPoint and my code, we will share a Google Drive. We will share it with you. All right. So I will show you my code. Do you want to see the with graph one or without graph? Yeah, it's if you need a certificate, you have to RSVP. But I will look into it since you're attending. I will see if we can get you a certificate if you haven't RSVP'd. It's all right. We'll look into it. Okay, with graph and without graph. Okay, so I'll go to with graph first. So this is the beginning. Okay, here you go. This is the prompt we use for giving a structured summary. This is to generate a threat summary prompt. And this is our simulated data because the log file we're using does not actually has any compromised uh, like IP addresses that have compromised. So yeah, and this one is basically for the bar graph. Okay. Now I will show the without graph one. Okay, for without graph, instead of making a simulated data, I got the data from the log file analysis done earlier over here. Analyze this firewall log and identify potential threats. And this basically takes data from it and looks for indicators of compromise. Yeah. But yeah, don't worry. We will provide this code. Uh, we will share our folder, our drive folder, and all of our resources will be there. So is that all right, or do you want me to go through the code again? You can open your mic if you like. Okay, okay, so we will share all resources with you all, and after this, you will all get, okay, so after this, you will all get a feedback form, so don't forget to fill that, and you'll be getting your certificates shortly, and also the resources, which is my PowerPoint and the code. And one more thing, would you all like if I wrote more details in my PowerPoint. Like I added a step by step of each line of code. Would you all like that? Just give a thumbs up if you want me to make a longer. All right, perfect. Okay, I will do that. And then maybe tomorrow or a day after, we will share it with you guys. Perfect. All right. Okay, so I will work on it and we will share it with you all. Any more questions? It's all good? If it's all good, just give a thumbs up. Okay, that's so great. So now we can conclude the workshop. I'm glad you all attended. I hope this was helpful to everybody. I hope you can all benefit from this. And one more positive thing to this is now you can write in your CV. You can use this as your own project. You can mention in your CV that you have written a script for CTI analysis using Google. You're welcome, everybody. I'm glad you all attended. I hope you all have a great week ahead. Okay, now we will end the workshop. Thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a good day.